All right, folks. So welcome back to this series on creating an animatronic horror bear. Last episode, we created the fingers for our bear, and I think this episode we're going to try to figure out what to do with the hand. And then we're also going to do his tummy section here, and then his shoulder connection here. So we'll try to knock those out in this video. And that way, in the next video, we can begin working on his head. And I think we'll save the little bow tie till last. And I haven't decided if we're going to put a tail on him or not, like we see here. So first things first, let's go to Workspace, General, Reset Current Workspace. Then let's go to File, Set Project, find your Fred project folder, hit Set, then do File, Open Scene, open Fred 10, and then do a file, save scene as, and let's call it Fred 11. All right, so now we've got ourselves set up. Make sure you're on the modeling drop down, and let's go ahead and we will let's start with his stomach, I think. Let's knock that out real fast. It won't take very long. So I'm going to look at grabbing this right here, his torso. I'm going to try to look at the faces that would encompass his little belly right there. So I'm going to go to face mode and I'm going to select any that this belly shows up in. I'm kind of guessing where it goes behind the tie, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. And actually, let's go ahead and turn on this up here at the top where it says symmetry. Let's do Object X. That way it'll save us some time selecting them because it'll select the other side for us. All right. So now what we will do is let's go ahead and, well, actually, oops, can't rotate that, but let's grab these right under here as well. We're going to see if we can make them look good. All right. So we got all those. And then what I'm going to do, hit Control E to bring up extrude. Rotate around here. Then I'm going to grab the extrude box, try to scale it in some. You'll see that it's doing it on all edges. Then I'm going to go ahead and with the move tool, try to pull that out some. If we go to side view, we can see that it is starting to separate it. Don't need anything too major. Really, all we're going to do is use a lot of this for the purpose of these faces here. We'll be able to texture one color and we'll texture the others a different color. But it'll help it stand out a little bit as well. So hopefully you've got that pulled out some. I'm also going to go down here and just select these faces that we pulled. I think I'm going to try to pull them down a hair just so I can make sure that they aren't overlapping each other if there's some other faces below them. So that was fairly simple. Now, the one thing you will notice doesn't quite follow our line here. So what I may try to do is, again, with symmetry on, I'm going to go to vertex mode. I'm just going to kind of grab one and pull it in. And I know I'm grabbing the right one because these lines are really close together. That lets me know that that is the raised little section of his stomach. And I want to look at that bottom one real quick just to see what it's going to look like when I move it. That's not bad. We may have to tweak that one a little bit because I'm not quite a fan of it. I may try to manually do some movements on it. All right, and I'm just going to go up here, do the same thing. I grab my selection tool so I can grab these last ones real quick. And then this very top one, I'm going to pull it down a hair. Then let's just look at that real fast. It's not bad. I think it'll work. Um, then what I think I'm going to go ahead and do, don't know if it's going to do it. Let's see. If I select edge, no, it's not going to be able to. So let's just do vertex. And I'm going to select all of these vertices that make up the border of our little tummy there. And we are going to try, I don't know what it's going to do, but we're going to take a look at it. We're going to try to see if we can do shift, hold down the right mouse key and do average vertices. Let's see if it made it nicer. It made a pretty solid curve. It at least cleaned it up so they weren't so jagged. So again, that was right click while holding shift, right click and hold and choose average vertices. Let's check up here. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so we got his little tummy there. We'll mess with it more when we're ready to add color to this guy. And our goal is to, for this particular activity, is to try to add all of our color using what's available in Maya. All right, so now let's work on the shoulder, I think. And we're just going to basically give it, we want this to pivot on its own. So we're just going to kind of make a ball come off of the side here and go into where the arm would be, and it'll just pivot on that ball. So what I'm going to do, let's look at face mode. I'm going to turn, well, let's leave symmetry on. That way it does it for the other side. I grab, I think, let's see how close this gets to. I think we can go one more row down. Looking at the side view, we're trying to keep it behind that joint or that shoulder. So I've got that. Then I'm going to do Control E. And actually, yeah, we'll do it. Let's grab the scale tool here, the scale block, and let's scale it in. Just going to shrink it. I'm going to grab the move tool. I'm going to push it back to where it's kind of hidden inside of there. Then I'm going to grab each vertex one at a time, kind of pushing those in for the corners, trying to make it look a little more round is what our goal is with these movements. And I'm going to pull these ones out a hair just to make it more like a circle. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab all of these vertices and make up this circle. Even the ones in the middle. And then shift, hold down Shift, right click, average vertices, and there we go. Now I'm going to go to vertices. Actually, yeah, let's do vertices again. Select all of them. I'm going to shift this back a hair. And I may even grab these, try to bring them back a hair. All right, I'm gonna go to object mode, click away, and just kind of see what that looks like. I think it'll work. We may do some touch up in a little bit, but let's go ahead and get face mode. I'm gonna grab my selection tool so that selection or that gizmo doesn't get in the way. Selecting all 9 of these faces. And then in my front view, I'm gonna go ahead and do Control E and pull it out and kind of go into the shoulder. It's a little bit too big there, so let's grab our scale tool. Scale it. Whoa. Oh, don't do that because it's doing the other side. Nope. Okay, so we are going to let's turn off symmetry. See if it still has that selected. Let's see if it still does it. There we go. Now that we turned off symmetry, it's not trying to mess it all up on us. I'm just going to kind of squeeze it in, move it to where it kind of tucks inside of the shoulder. Probably going to have to shrink this even more. I'm just going to go really small actually with it just to try to get it down. And we may actually, to help it even more, may put another loop tool or an edge loop in there. All right, so I'm trying to get it in there. Looks good from these sides. So I'm going to scale it down a hair more just to make sure it's in all the way. I'm also, let's do this to help us out. I'm going to grab my scale tool. I'm going to turn off, or I'm going to deselect the other side for right now. So I'm going to click away and just select, let's go to vertices. I'm going to grab these vertices here, and I'm going to scale them to make them flat. That'll actually help us. Oh, let's not move that yet because I want to go to the other side. Oh man, I didn't even think about that. Oh well, don't worry about that. I've got an idea for fixing that. Let's just worry about this one side. So let's go ahead and now scale that up some, see if it stays where we want it. Okay. Let's go up on height. I think we can do some height on it. Now that we're not worried about that other side, let's just focus on getting the other part done, or this side done. All right. Now let's do vertex. And I'm going to pull these up a hair, kind of curve it. I'm going to pull these, I think, out some. Just kind of clean it up to where it looks more like the shoulder. That did not grab the one I wanted. Let's see. I think that's a little better. I want to hide this for a moment so I can tweak this some. I'm gonna go to vertex mode, bring that down. Try to make it more like a circle real quick. And then let's go ahead and again select all those, do shift, average vertices. I'm gonna turn back on the shoulder. It moved it some in, so I'm gonna go to vertex mode and pull that back out. Oops, I didn't grab them all. All right. So now what we're gonna do is I think what I'm gonna try to do on it is I'm gonna go ahead and go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. I'm gonna insert an edge loop right where the shoulder would connect. Gonna shift click that edge. I'm gonna scale it to flatten it. Then I'm gonna try to scale it up some so it looks a little thicker before it goes into the arm. That might be too much because it's popping out of that one area. Maybe even a little more this way. All right. Let's just kind of look at that. I think that'll work for what we're doing. You can play around with it, get it the way you want. Now for this issue that we had over here, because we had it on mirror, I'm going to go to face mode. I'm going to select this entire half and hit delete. Then I'm going to pan around, make sure I got rid of that entire half. So I'm going to hide the waist. All right, so I got it all rid of. I can bring back the waist. Then I'm going to select this and I'm going to go to mesh, mirror, have it on the X. I think that should be good. Combine with original and merge. And now it should mirror exactly what we had. All right. So finally, let's see the last little piece that I can add in here. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a cube. And let's bring it into where the hand is. Let's scale it down. And let's put it kind of right here. Width-wise, I think it needs to go a little bit bigger on here. And well, I'll rotate it in a minute. But let's try to do vertex mode. Whoops. Make sure you select the correct object when you do vertex mode. Grab that one. Let's bring it down to where the hand should start. This one we're going to have to kind of guess on this side because it's kind of blocked out. Then this one, I'm going to pull it up to about right here. And this one right there. So we're still going to do a little more to it. Let's do object mode on this side. I'm actually going to rotate it to kind of match the contour of the hand over here. And now let's do some little touch-ups real quick. Let's go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. And I'm going to insert one here, kind of where in between the fingers are. That way I have more vertices to grab. So I'm going to right-click and go Vertex Mode again. Grab those, pull them down to where that is. Grab these, pull them down. And then I think we can even pull these up a hair. And these up a hair. Maybe pull those down to make it look like it has a curve pattern to it. Then let's go ahead and do across this way. So let's do insert edge loop. Put two of them in here. Now these will be a little trickier to grab because they're kind of overlapping. So let's take a look at it in perspective view. We'll go vertex. Let's do this one. Let's pull it out of here. And we'll pull this one out a hair. And on the other side, let's go ahead and pull. I may actually leave those where they are, and let's just pull these two inside ones in to kind of make the palm. All right, now it's not great at the moment, but we're going to see what we can do with it. And so let's pull this guy in, and make it to where this thumb is a little more visible. Shrink down this a hair. Try to get it a little closer to the fingers. Again, we're not attaching the fingers because we are planning to keep them as a separate rig that will just be a child of the hand. I think I'm going to do an edge loop this way real quick across the whole thing. All right. So I can do vertex mode here, pull it out some, vertex mode. And so basically now I'm just trying to reshape this design to make it look a little more like a hand that would fit those fingers that I've created. And so another thing you can do to test it, if I go to object mode, because we may try this later, is if I press number 3 on the keypad, just to see what the smooth version looks like. And the smooth doesn't look bad, actually. I kind of like that because it goes nicely with these fingers. This is the only one I got to work on. So I'm going to select it, press 1 again. And I'm going to go ahead and I think for this thumb, what I may do is I may take this face and this face, and I'm going to do Control E, scale a little bit, and then pull it out some. And I may scale it down a little more. Then I'm going to go to object mode. I'm going to pull that thumb kind of right in, try to build around the thumb that way with that piece. Let's look at it when it's smoothed again. 3. Yeah, so I'm going to build around that piece to make my thumb look good. Again, press 1 to go back to unsmooth. And I'm going to do that, but for the most part, we've got a pretty good design there. You can play with yours, adjust it if you need to a little bit. But at that point, or at this point, now we have pretty much our character modeled out from the shoulders down to the feet. We still need the bow tie, but we are ready to start working on the head in the next video. Then after we finish the head, we'll work on coloring it. Then we'll add a rig to it, and then hopefully get to animate it in the near future. But if you want to play around with the hand some, you can continue to model that. Again, number 3 on your number keypad will smooth. Number 1 turns the smooth back off. Whoops. Oh, I'm sorry. Now number 2 will actually allow you to see what the polygons look like, and then the smooth version looks like. And then number 1 takes it right back to just the polygon version. All right, so let's do a file save. And then in the next video, we'll start the head. We'll see you then.